Good evening and welcome to In the Know, brought to you by the Racing Post and Coral. It's the big one. It's the Grand National tomorrow at Aintree. Day 3 of the three-day meeting over on Merseyside. We saw some thrills and spills today, that's for sure. Big fields and cracking finishes and some huge performances as well. And our first taste of the national fences this year. And we had a 7-year-old novice winning the Topham. Could it be the same again tomorrow in the National? It was, of course, the case last year as well. Those fences are a different breed this time around, and we're getting those unexposed, improving types take to them. Is it just like any other handicap nowadays? Have they taken the sheen off the National? Well, they certainly won't have if you back the winner tomorrow, that's for sure. And hopefully we'll point you in the right direction as we're going to go through that race in detail on tonight's show. We'll also be looking at the rest of the card on Saturday as well and having a quick look back at today. So do get in touch if you're watching at home. It's live and interactive, so get involved on that chat box. I don't need to tell you, you know how to do it. But if you don't know how to do it, get chatting in that chat box. Press the like on the algorithm as well. Let's just get involved. Let's just get involved for day 3 of Aintree. Today looked tougher on paper, and it kind of worked out that way as well. But Cheltenham form certainly standing up. If you'd followed the Supreme Novices Hurdle form, you'd have done well. If you'd followed Lucinda Russell's horses, you'd have done well as well. She's hit the crossbar a couple of times, but she won a Grade 1 today with Apple away, and she could well win the big one tomorrow with Korak Rambler as well. It's exciting times. But let me introduce you to our panel for the evening. Paul Keeley is morning, noon, but not night today. But luckily, we have the future Paul Keeley.
Well, I hope not. It's harsh, isn't it? It's just a joke, Keels.
He's not watching.
I'm playing Super Sub first in the know in, I think maybe 6 months or so.
It's been a while, Robbie.
Quite a while, yeah. I generally do the other shows, but good to be back in the evening hot seat.
We booked you before today's card, but I'm surprised you haven't immediately gone, yeah, I followed the Supreme Novices form, because you put up 25-1 anti-post.
Yeah, that was nice. That was needed to sort of take the pressure off for the first day.
Yeah.
He won that quite well. I was quite surprised actually how well he won it, to be honest.
Yeah, Fenner Cross. Yeah, he was given a lovely ride. I thought always in the right position.
He was perfect. Yeah, just everything went right. It just all clicked. Great start.
Yeah.
More of the same tomorrow, hopefully.
Have you got any? Is the anti-postman got any slips already for tomorrow?
No, Miller's Bank was my other one. Sort of didn't really run his race. No, not really, but there's still plenty to get stuck into.
Yeah, there is indeed. Robbie in the studio. Then Tom Segal is cosy and comfortable at home. Good evening to you, Tom.
Hi guys, how you doing?
I'm very well. Are you ready and raring to go for the race that I'm sure fills your text message inbox? Hey Tom, you like horse racing, don't you? What do you fancy from people you've not spoken to in a decade?
Used to be, not anymore, Ross. I think most people have lost fascination with the National, if truth be told. I don't hardly get any anymore. I'll be off watching basketball anyway, so I'll have it on video, but I'll watch it when I get back, so I won't be seeing it live. I've no doubt I will know the results, because I'll get the text saying, well done, you got that wrong, completely wrong again, and we will move on to the rest of the day.
Yeah, to be fair to you, Tom, I do text you that after every race, so...
Boom, boom.
I apologise. But David Stevens is in the... he's not in the house, he's in his house. The tie's come off, so you're feeling loose and relaxed ahead of the National?
Well, the tie came off, the wheels came off the punting today. Maximilian was about as close as we got to anything resembling a winner. Keels may well have tipped Apple away in that last race. I can't remember, because he zoned out at that point, didn't he? But Keels, if you did tip Apple away, well done. Elsewhere, Picdorhy was quite a drifter out to 4-1 in the Marsh Chase, but duly confirmed that Ascot superiority over Fakir Duderies. And in the pocket, continuing a better week for Henry de Bromhead and Rachel Blackmore. Obviously, they've got a very well-fancied one in the Grand National tomorrow, more of which later. But it's been a good week for the price boost. Both Banbridge and Jerry Colombe have both won. Tomorrow's price boost, available for the duration of this live show, up to 20 quid, is Willie Mullins to win the Grand National. He's got 5, including Gaillard, Dumainil and Mr. Incredible, and 5-1 from 4-1, Willie Mullins to train the Grand National winner. So let's hope we can, well, if you've backed one of Willie Mullins, we can get the hat-trick of price boosts up for the week.
Yeah, a bit more ambitious that one as well, so I like it. 5-1 out from 4-1. Just have a quick look back at today. Tom, we saw some Some Cheltenham form lines boosted. Jerry Colombe in the pocket. Fenner Cross, of course. Was there anything that you particularly enjoyed on today's card?
Didn't enjoy it, no, but I watched it.
Fair enough, that'll do.
It was okay. It was okay. I mean, I find Aintree a bit boring, if truth be told, boys. I mean, it's just you're just guessing whether horses are going to come back from Cheltenham or they're not. I mean, the racing is a high quality standard. I think trying to work out which horse is going to run well and which isn't, it's really, really hard. I don't like it. I don't bet that much at Aintree, if truth be told. I've learned that a long time ago, but I'm pleased to see that your man on your right there nabbed a 25-1 shot, because that's the way to do it. Get stuck in the early prices in the early start of the week when you got the chance, and hope one comes off. Well done, Mr. Wilders.
Cheers, Mr. Segal.
There you go. Respect. Game respects game and all that. But yeah, it's. I feel a bit like a friend's taking me to a restaurant and then was just sat down and gone, yeah, I don't really like it here. Actually, it's not that good. So as we gear up for the national preview, yeah, Tom's like, I don't really like Aintree, but it's fine. So, but you clearly do, Robbie.
Yeah, enjoy it, mate. Yeah, appreciate the honesty. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like you can kind of work out the horses that have been more primed for this than Cheltenham a lot of the time.
I think the key for today, I mean, every track is exactly the same, but track position today, I mean, Fenner Cross has sat in that lovely pocket, was in the pocket, Pic D'Orhy was on the heels of the leaders.
A strong leader in the top novices sort of came from nowhere, didn't he, though? That was really eye-catch. He was probably the eye-catcher of the day, really, wasn't he? Because he was last and made up a hell of a lot of ground.
And then in the last, they kind of went, oh, you want to be on the speed, do you? Well, we'll go 500 miles an hour. And
yeah, that was painful. I actually backed Nick a Block of Glory in that, just right was on the wall where you just knew being taken on with the other one was not going to work out.
Yeah. I scream at the never mind, go on. We'll move on. But hello to everyone watching at home as well. Get your selections in and thoughts for tomorrow. Hello to Duncan Evans, to Paul, to Dave, and to Icon Mix, to Stevens 99, to James Barr, to everyone else. And a good evening to you, and thank you again for comments on the facial hair. Yep, I did get a trim this morning, it made the difference. It made the difference because we did make a small profit on the day. Let's hope we can continue that on to Saturday, and we'll be getting stuck into those cards in just a second. There we go, Members Club available right now. Let's go on to Aintree's first day of Saturday afternoon. It is another Novices Chase with another small field. A very short price favourite in the shape of John Bon, of course, at 1-3. Not long till May. Very true, 9-2. Marvel de Cerisi is 10-1. Kaliko 14-1. Fusain is 50-1. And Banbury just turned down the opportunity to win 2 Grade 1s in a week, and probably quite sensibly so. But John Bon here is a 1-3 shot. He's got 2 very distinct camps, John Bon, the lovers and the haters. But he does tend to win the race, unless, of course, there's a real top-class horse in the mix. Constitution Hill, El Fabiolo might be a future champion chaser, but he's not got a lot to beat here, Robbie.
Hasn't he? Well, I think not long till May can beat him.
Okay. Why is that?
I'm not sure. I'm surprised he's still an each-way price here, to be honest. Okay. Really like the Turner's run. He obviously stays further. He's just very much going the right way, isn't he? Mm-hmm. And the rain is going to be very much in his favour. He is improving. I'm not sure we can necessarily say that about John Bon. And there's 5 runners. I don't think the other 3 have really got any sort of chance, to be honest. I know Calico ran well behind him in Warwick, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. But still, I'm not sure about him with the softening ground. I think that's good ground. Marvel de Cerisi, plenty to find again. So I think not long to May. I thought he'd be, when I was looking at this, I was having him more like a 3-1 chance, to be honest. So
well, he's only got £7 to find, doesn't he? To be fair.
Yeah, exactly. And we just know he's a strong stayer. So yeah, I think there's a lot to like. I quite like each way betting when there's 5 runners, to be honest.
Okay.
When there's what the favourite where I'm not sure he should be quite 1-3. He probably will win, but I'd sooner back not long till May each way.
Yeah, because I get the feeling, obviously most people will be like, well, there's only two places, so I'm not going to back it each way. But I guess you're looking at it thinking, well, I'm backing each way, two-runner race in your mind.
Yeah, basically, you look at the other three. I mean, Fusain's rode 122, rule him out. Kalik on the ground, rule him out. Marvel de Clarisse, I know he was gambled on in the was it the plate?
The plate, yeah.
But there's just plenty to find. Not Long Till May doesn't have loads to find, really. So, that's the one for me.
Okay, not long till May then. Of course, that stage star form let down a little bit earlier in the week, but Tom, be interested to see what Adam Wedge does because, got that guaranteed stamina, likes a flat track, prominent racer. Is there a possibility he could play Catch Me If You Can with John Bon?
I don't think there's any chance of that. No, I think John Bon will make the run in, and I think he'll probably win by 25 lengths. If truth be told, I think he's totally different class to these. I think the Turner's form's rubbish, if truth be told. But I do get the anti-post angle for those playing because I can't see any way the other three have any chance at all. Forsain is a very good jumper, to be fair, but he's rated 120. Calico surely wants better ground. And I don't know about Marvel de Cerisy. The only thing you could say is that Henry Hopper de Bromhead's horse has been in really good form this week. So maybe he'll run a bit better, but I think John Bon is literally 2 stone better than these.
Okay, there you go. That's strong words already. I mean, very much. I said John Bon. We had the 2 camps, and we've got them now with our pundits tonight. David Stevens, are you on the fence, or are you joining the fight?
No, we love this though. Strong opinions, differing opinions as well to get things started. I think John Bon will win as well. As you say, look at the 2 horses that have beaten him, both out the top draw. The Turner's form did not get any sort of boost from Stage Star earlier in the week. I thought Calico actually could be the one to chase him home. Again, the rain has finally stopped up here now. It's a nice, dry, windy, sunny day tomorrow, so hopefully the ground won't be too bad. But we've got a special that's going to appeal to one of these pundits, but not the other. It's John Bon to win by over 7.5 lengths. You can be with him odds against with this 5-4 and 10-11. Not one for Robbie, but Tom says 25 lengths, so 7.5 lengths, no problem.
There you go. Yeah, Tom's going to go steaming in now. But can we? Let's get him over 25 price by the. Actually, he's not going to back it. He just told us he's done better at Aintree. Anyway, okay. John Bon is 1-3. Not long till May. 9-2. Marvel de Cerisy is the 10-1 shot in here. So let's move on because we want to give enough time to talk about the national in depth. So we've got a 3-mile handicap hurdle on the agenda here, and Good Time Johnny came from God knows where to win the Pertemps at Cheltenham. Can he do the same at Aintree here? He's carrying a big weight. He's 11-2 favourite ahead of West Balboa at 6-1. Antair is 8-1. Outlaw Peter 9-1. Party Business returns for another crack at 10-1. Mexico is 10-1. Mill Green 11s. Vina Ardanza is 14-1, and it's 22 runners here in this 225 at Aintree. And Good Time Johnny. Still. Watched that replay back a couple of times, Tom, and we were talking about this yesterday, weren't we? You're watching races and you're thinking, I've got a chance here as they get to the final hurdle, and suddenly the one you've backed. I backed Mill Green and Green Book, and they were beaten about 5 lengths by this horse, and he absolutely shot home. But they did go a good clip and set it up for him. Is that going to be the case tomorrow?
Very possible. I mean, I'm surprised he only went up 5 because he won very easily, didn't he? Before the race, I didn't think he really liked Cheltenham, and I'm still of the opinion he doesn't really like Cheltenham. Good Time Johnny, despite winning the Pertemps. Sounds crazy, but never looked to be travelling, and then just got going late on. I think this track will be perfect for him. I think they go really hard here, and it mimight set it up for him. So I give him a good shot. Yeah, Good Time Johnny. I think he's got a bit more weight, and obviously had a race there, but 11-2 is perfectly fair on what he did at Cheltenham, I think. But there's plenty of others you can make a case for. Yeah, there's a few of those novices down the bottom. Outlaw Peter was good at Kempton. I didn't think the form got a great boost today. Antair is a horse I like. I know he's in Keels' horses to follow list. Just wonder if the ground gone against him. It's weird, isn't it? On Thursday we all expected to be soft, and it was good. And today we expected it to be good, and it's almost soft, verging on heavy, according to some people. Who knows what it's going to be tomorrow? But my guess is that it'll still be pretty testing. So I think that probably counts out Antair. West Balboa's form in Kempton, she looked very good, didn't she? The way she stuck on and kept at it. Only 4 finished. That was a really weird renewal of the Lanzarote. Ground was very strange that day. Might be similar tomorrow, so I couldn't rule her out. One I liked, I thought, was Stuart Edmonds' Mexico, who won at Uttoxeter last time when stepped up to 3 miles. Edmonds, the trainer, won this 2 years ago with Hometown Boy or something like that. And I thought he might go well because I think he'll love the softish ground if it is soft. He loved the step up to 3 miles. He just looked a totally different horse last time. I think the handicap had put him up 7. I think you could have put him up 27. I mean, he won by a distance eased down. I think he's got a good chance. But as you know, all these Aintree handicaps this week, they're really hard. I mean, there's plenty you can fancy, but he'd be the one for me, Mexico.
Yeah, he's got a really good record, hasn't he, Stuart Edmonds, when he targets a race like this. Hometown Boy was smashed off the boards as well, wasn't he, in 2021? So yeah, you get the feeling. Mexico was well back last time out. He's done this 2 or 3 times in the past, so you get the feeling they probably needed to win last time out to make sure he got in as well.
Yeah, exactly. But he's in there now. I mean, it's a little bit disappointing in the EBF final, I have to admit, because I thought he'd run well there. Also, he didn't run great. I mean, to be honest, before last time, I'd given up on him, but he was so impressive last time. I mean, this might be a step too far for him. It could be, but I see Steve Mason Racing Post ratings, man, has him well clear on top rated on his Uttoxeter run. So maybe this has always been the plan. I'm hoping that's the case. I think he just looked an improved horse last time.
Okay, Mexico it is then. Tom's going to be going loco down in Acapulco. If that one wins, Robbie, what are you going for?
I think West Balboa's a very good chance here. I mean, Dan Skelton's always spoken about her in quite a strange... I don't pay too much attention to trainer sort of quotes, but he's always said this is like a Grade 1 horse and hasn't really shown it yet. But that Lanzarote run was a bit different. I mean, yeah, as Tom said, only 4 of them finished. It was grueling, but that suggested that she was ready for this 3 miles to me. She loves soft ground. She's run twice this season. She's very fresh. The only 2 horses that have beaten her are Stage Star, who's Grade 1 win this season, and when she lost off top weight at Sandown on her return from a year off, forgive her for that. I just think she's on a good mark of 135. I'll throw in a couple of others. I'm interested in Barden's Town Lad. He was 3rd in the Albert Bartlett last season. Ground might be going against him. He's never really done it on soft, but John McConnell seems to think he's coming back to himself. He's been a bit flat. Chasing didn't work out. He was odds on to beat the real whacker at Cheltenham earlier this season in the chase. But he is on a good mark if it all falls into place. And the other one is Gatsby Grey. Oliver McKinnon, his horse, No Looking Back, was quite well fancied today. Didn't really run any sort of race. But his horses tend to run well at the spring meetings. He had a 50 tournament in the bowl a few years back. And this horse ran a really nice race by Mighty Potter, 2nd at Punchestown over 2 miles. He shapes like a stayer. He's not had that chance this season, but he will like the ground, and he's the other one. But main selection for sure will be West Balboa.
Yeah. I know what you mean about the trainer quotes, but yeah, what I quite like about her is that they were maybe toying with going for one of the mares races at Cheltenham, and maybe going for Warwick for that listed race that Molly's already wishes. They were maybe going for a valuable handicap at Ascot, and I think they probably thought, you know what, that was probably quite a tough race. We'll give her a bit of time.
Yeah, you can see that kind of 3 months off. I think Dan Skelton's just like a dab hand for preparing horses from long layoffs. Like, you wouldn't really worry about that at all, would you?
Yeah.
That freshness, I think, is going to help her for sure. And we know she likes the ground, crucially, so lots to like.
And the horse that did beat her at Sandown was Kokelico, of course, who's been in great nick and won on the flat the other day over at Nottingham. So, decent opinions in this 3 mile handicap hurdle, David Stevens, but we're going to need some extra places at the very least, certainly based on some of the SPs in the races today at Aintree.
You can have 1 extra place, 5 places
thanks,
each
mate.
way in this one. I like Mexico, like Tom. I think Stuart Edmonds is a really underrated trainer, and he was just so impressive. Last time has been backed already. No doubt, thanks to Mr. Segal. And the other one I give a chance to was Outlaw Peter. Not quite sure what went wrong in the Lanzarote. Pulled up, but apart from that, it's had a really good season. Won his last 2. Shouldn't mind soft ground. Shouldn't mind 3 miles for a team, obviously Nichols and Cobden, that did get on the score sheet today. But we've got another price boost on this, and it's an Irish train winner of this race. They've got plenty of chances, including the 2 20-1 shots that Robbie's mentioned, and the favourite, of course, an Irish train winner of this race, 2-1 from 6-4.
Okay, there you go, an Irish train horse to win the 225, 2-1 from 6-4. Just reiterate what you're going with, Tom.
Mexico for me.
There you go, Mexico.
Going loco, as you say.
There you go, lovely stuff. We'll be for heatering up the ground later on.
It's tenuous, isn't it?
It is very tenuous.
West Balboa, yourself?
Well, I don't think Mexico certainly Nacho, no, I can't do it. For me, I thought Party Business was a little bit interesting. A lot depends on the ground, doesn't it? That looks to have been aimed, I think, at this race again for another crack. And probably what I'll end up doing again is back in Mill Green to place, watching as it comes there swinging, doesn't find, and finishes 4th or 3rd. So
still places.
Yeah, it's not a bad little angle. Sometimes you've got to play a straight bat. What else have we got? Itchy Feet is overpriced, says Disney account. There we go. Mill Green loves soft ground, says Graham Mackey. You might well be right. And Terrific Lad says West Marlborough still well handicapped, kept fresh for this. Will suit the mare. Lovely stuff. Right then, let's wave goodbye to that handicap hurdle and move on to a Grade 1 Novices hurdle here, the Mersey. 2.5 miles the distance here, and Hermes Allen is 7-2 to bounce back from that Cheltenham disappointment. Dark Raven is 4-1. You Wear It Well is 6-1. Irish Point 7-1. Springwell Bay is 10-1. Crambo 11-1. Authorised Speed 12s. Katira is 12-1. And it is bigger prices the rest. Again, a huge field here for this Grade 1 contest. Bigger prices, likes of Blow Your Wad, who was a good winner last time out. Mufasa, who was placed in Grade 2 company, and a couple of other interesting runners at big prices as well. But Hermes Allen, it was obviously, I mean, it's been a funny season in the festivals for the Nichols Yard in general, Robbie. It's been sort of big winners and then big disappointments. There's nothing in between.
Yeah, it does seem that way, yeah.
Hermes Allen ran an absolute stinker, but this track is surely going to suit him a bit better.
Yeah, I think so, but I don't know, after that run, it was very flat. I just don't know if I want to be taking a short price about him, to be honest. I think this is pretty open. Again, all the Novice hurdles have been wide open. I think the one I'm gravitating towards is the one that we know. It's quite an obvious angle, but I do like horses that's strong stayers when the ground gets soft. And let's be clear about it, is a strong stayer at 3 miles. He did shape at Cheltenham. I know he weakened in the last furlong or so. He shaped as if like a strongly run 2.5 miles on soft ground would be absolutely spot on for him. He's just going to absolutely love the rain's coming for him. Gavin Cromwell's record at this meeting is decent. 3 runners last year, 3 seconds, couple of big prices. I just really rate Cromwell, and this horse is also sort of 8 years old. I'm not sure he's going to be getting too much better. He's close to his prime, so 10-1 looks pretty good. Oh, he's bigger actually.
Yeah, that'll do. He's drifted out, doesn't he? Yeah.
That'll do.
Fact, where is he? What prices? Let's be clear about it, David.
He's 10-1 on my website.
No, he is 10-1. Yeah, back in 10-1 from 12. So.
All right. Okay. He's in there somewhere. Fair enough. Let's be clear about it. Yeah. Who ran in that Albert Bartlett behind Stay Away Faye, who I let the form down a little bit today to a certain extent, but. Maybe that's been a little bit harsh. But yeah, Hermes Allen then, Tom, where do you stand on this? I mean, you've had some fairly strong opinions on horses. Bron, for example, you're right about that one, who just ran deplorably at Cheltenham and just didn't get home, didn't look happy in the closing stages. Are you also scratching this one off because of his poor run last time?
You can't scratch him off. No, definitely not, because the Challow Hurdle form, whichever way you want to cut it up, is very good. You wear it well. He beat very easily that day, didn't he? And she went on to win at Cheltenham, so definitely can't rule him out. I just think it shows, we talk about trainers all the time, but Paul Nicholls is just such a brilliant trainer. He's such a target trainer that he had those horses spot on for Cheltenham, and the ones he didn't have going to Cheltenham have come out and won this week. You know what I mean? And the ones that did go to Cheltenham have maybe let them, they were maybe so primed for the day that they've not quite repeated the form. Stay Away Faye still ran very well today, to be fair, but Hitman didn't run so good, and Stage Star didn't run so good. I don't know where Hermes Allen falls, because he didn't run very well at all, did he? So I don't know whether he was holding something back and he might bounce back. I definitely can't rule him out. I didn't really like Dark Raven, but then I didn't really like Fenner Cross and a few others today. But I thought Dark Raven had pretty hard race in the county hurdle. Was it in a county hurdle? Can't remember. But I think I think he's there because it's Willie Mullins. Irish Point, I'm just sort of think that he might be a little bit overrated. I think we're still talking about him because he ran Marine Nationale to a head at in the Royal Pond. Not convinced by that. I'm a little bit. I'm with Robbie here. I think the two for me are You Wear It Well and Let's Be Clear About It. Let's Be Clear About It obviously ran in the 3 mile race, pulled too hard, far too keen. I think 2.5 miles off a stronger pace will suit him a lot better. Whether he's quite a Grade 1 winner over 2.5 miles, I'm not sure, but I thought he'd be in the frame because I think he'd finish. You Wear It Well, just simply, I think she did incredibly well to win over 2 miles. I think this trip is much better suited to her. If she gets out in front and gets rolling like some of those horses did today without any pressure on, I think she'll be hard to beat. And I couldn't rule out Authorised Speed as well. You've seen Gary Moore's Novices this week. Bo Zenith just got touched off. How that lost, I don't know. I keep watching that and thinking he's won, and he didn't win. And then Hansard ran an absolute blinder today, didn't he, in the 2 mile race? Held up last, out the back, came cruising through. I think he finished third or fourth or wherever he finished. But I think Gary Moore's always underestimated in these races. So I could see Authorised Speeds bouncing back. But for me, I think the two I like are You Wear It Well and Let's Be Clear About It, really.
Okay, You Wear It Well is 6-1, and Let's Be Clear About It is a 10-1 shot there. Irish Point was the one I kept coming back to a little bit, but it could go either way with that. I know what you mean about the Marine National form, but I also think that Champ Kylie form is pretty solid as well, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
I can see him. I think he's certainly good. He's the one I'm absolutely sure he's going to run his race in these conditions. The one I thought was a little bit big was the one who won a handicap the other day at Newbury that we mentioned at a bigger price, Blow Your Wad. I know it's a real step up in grade here, but he beat Inniston really comfortably, and he's just seemed to improve for that step up in trip, and he finished fourth in the bumper here last year. I just got the feeling he's a horse who's not quite got it together until last time out, and I quite like backing horses who suddenly they're like, oh, okay, I know what's expected of me, and then they come into a better race at a big price. So I thought he could have a little bit of a squeak, but it's wide open, David. But I think we're all taking on Hermes Allen, and Tom makes a good point. The Nichols horses out of Cheltenham have, run pretty poorly, and the ones who skipped it, like Pic D'Orhy, have done well.
Yeah, absolutely. Just on Blow Your Wad, that's a 20-1 shot. It's been the theme this week, actually. The Novice Chases, small field. The Novice Hurdles, really big fields. This is another one. So we do have the extra place each way, 4 places each way. I'm with you on Irish Point. I still really like his form. I think he's got a big race in him. That Marine National form was over 2 miles, but he's got good second over 2.5 as well. Form in soft ground. So at 7-1, he ticks a lot of boxes for me again for a team that did have a winner today in Jerry Colombe.
Yeah, it is indeed. Yeah, Irish Point is a 7-1 shot. Then wide open stuff for this Novices Hurdle. As for the rest, Springwell Bay says Paul Ferguson and Rob Dixon and Matthew Angell. So a lot of love for that one. And Stevens 99 says Nichols said Hermes Allen was going for the 3 miler. So why is he in this? Yeah, I think if he didn't have Stay Away, Faye, I think he will improve for 3 miles next season over bigger obstacles. So it might well be that the other stablemate has just scuppered that plan. But what are you going for tomorrow?
Let's be clear about it, Ross.
Yes? Okay.
Oh, sorry, what was the question?
No,
I was trying to preempt your question.
No, you were very clear about it. Let's be clear about it.
Understood.
Very clear, absolutely. Crystal clear. Tom?
I forgot to mention Crambo. I think about the only thing I got this right this week is that you should be following Fergal O'Brien's horses. 2 winners, 40-1 winner today. So I wouldn't rule him out. I thought he did really well to win the EBF final. I thought he pulled too hard, went for home too soon, and still fought back. So if it turned into a war of attrition, Crambo could go well. But I'm with Robbie. I think Let's Be Clear About It will go well. But I also like You Wear It Well.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, could Crambo get first blood for the Fergal O'Brien team in this 3 o'clock at Aintree. David, what are you going with?
That was appalling. Well,
That really was terrible.
That's fine. I stand Stallone with that joke. I'm sorry. I apologise. It was a little slide to throw it in late on. But David, what are you going with?
Irish Point.
Okay, go Irish Point. Yeah, I'll go with Irish Point and a saver on Below Your Wad in the 3 o'clock at Aintree. More Grade 1 action then with the Liverpool Hurdle here, and a repeat of the Stayers Hurdle at Cheltenham, plus a horse that most people thought was going to run in the Stayers Hurdle but didn't, and she's top of the betting here. Marie's Rock at 4-1. Flooring Porter is 5s, Home by the Lee 5-1, Cider Burley 11-2, Champ is 7-1, Dashel Drasher 8-1, Meet and Greet 11-1, Montmoral is a 16-1 shot. We've also got Brewing Up a Storm in there as well, and Preschema. So pretty much, bar Tiapu, we've got most of the horses you would expect to turn up for this contest. Tom, I'm going to come to you for this one first. And I mean, it's a tough one with this favourite, isn't it? Because the other horse who ran a stinker in that mare's race was Epatante, and she ran a pretty poor race this week as well. And you've got some proper 3-mile hurdlers in here, and she's going to have to really up her game to beat them.
I don't know. She's got to up her game. Didn't she thrash Dashel Drasher in the Rel Keel?
She did, yeah. And to be fair, I knew whichever way I phrased that question, you were going to throw it back at me. But I guess
wasn't your best work, Ross. Wasn't your best work. Crambo was better, if truth be told.
Yeah.
I think she clearly didn't run a race for me last time. I just don't think that was her form. But it's a bit like the Hermes Allen thing, isn't it? I wouldn't back her at 4-1 to bounce back because she ran so badly last time. I think 3 miles will be perfectly fine for her. I really do. In fact, I think she'll enjoy it. But what to make of her last run, I'm not sure. The rest are all much of a muchness, aren't they? I mean, Home by the Lead probably, he did incredibly well to finish as close as he did in the World Hurdle, didn't he? Or Stayers Hurdle, given the mistake he made. If he cuts them out, he's got a chance. Flooring Porter could easily bounce back. He had a bad preparation for Cheltenham. Cider Burley, he fluked it. I don't know what happened there. Champ, he could easily bounce back, couldn't he? Kempton was still a good run. Missed Cheltenham for this. So look, they've all got a chance. I think it's really, really hard. I won't be having a bet in it. If I did, I'd back Home by the Lead just because I got a soft spot for him and I thought he should have won the Stayers Hurdle, really.
Okay. I can't understand Dashel Drasher at 8-1. I just can't get it. I mean,
overpriced.
It is overpriced. I mean, even you look.
Win though.
His runs over hurdle. I mean, over
I'll
hurdles.
put him up low. Yeah, I know what you mean.
He's just never third, fourth, first, second. Over hurdles. Grade 1 last time out. He's going to be prominent. He's got course form. Yeah, I know, but he's the kind of horse that
he is perennially underrated, isn't he?
Yes, he is, and he's just one of those horses I love to back each way because everyone goes, he won't win, but then occasionally they do, and you get your place money if they don't, and then the one day they drop in, you get a nice return.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of his. He's so consistent. You just know he's going to try, and it'd be very surprised if he didn't run his race, even though it's been a long season. But he's proved that he's very tough. It's just a weird division, isn't it? I mean, you got an 11-year-old beating a 10-year-old in the big one at Cheltenham. I'm drawn to 11-year-old Champ because he's had a different preparation this year. He just loves being fresh. Little stat for you, record after breaks of 70 days or more, 1-1-2, 1-1-2, 1-1-2. He just loves it.
That's your own personal hotline, I believe.
My own analysis.
To get your tips. But he's a prop. Yeah, he is a horse that likes to be fresh.
He does, yeah. I mean,
because he's another one who goes through all sorts of pain barriers, doesn't he? I mean, he really puts it in when he runs.
Yeah, for sure. And the ability's clearly still there. I mean, he's beaten Paisley Park two starts back, fresh again. Paisley Park came out and won the Group 1, the Grade 1 at Kempton, sorry. And the other one is, I mean, it is. What I will say is, you wouldn't be surprised if any of them won it. Probably Monmoral, I don't think, because he's not going to get the trip. But Meet and Greet is my other one. He's the sort of unexposed one at 3 miles. There's only 2 times he's run over 3 miles. He's placed in Grade 1s. But it's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, but you're right. He's another one who's a little bit overpriced. I mean, if Home by the Lead's a 5-1 shot, why is he an 11-1 shot? Really?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that was a really good run at Punchestown this time last year. He peaked for that behind the 2 standout novices, the Nice Guy and Manila Kakuna. I'm just very interested in this Oliver McKinnon angle, to be honest. I know it didn't clop today, but I could see his horses running very well tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, Oliver McKinnon has got his horses in good form. David Stevens, the Liverpool Hurdle here. This is again, it's a division that people like to kind of turn their nose up at, but they all turn up, and you don't get dull races in 3-mile Grade 1 hurdles, that's for sure.
You certainly don't, and this is obviously mightily competitive, as the boys have confirmed. I suppose the question we Cider Burley is, was that just a complete fluke at Cheltenham? Is he capable of producing the same again? I'm like Robbie, I'm a big fan of Champ, and the fact that he's coming here, having missed Cheltenham this time around, 11 years old now, but we saw at Cheltenham, that doesn't stop these stayers. But JP McManus does own Champ, he does own Cider Burley. Can he win this Liverpool Hurdle? We are 130 from 11-4 that JP McManus does win this Liverpool Hurdle.
Okay, there you go. 130 out from 11-4 to box up Cider Burley and Champ. I guess that might attract you, Robbie, but you're just going to stick with the old boys here.
Yeah, one old boy, one young boy.
Yeah.
I think that's the way I'm playing, yeah.
That's tonight's show, I think. The punditry, so that's nice.
What are you for?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're my team.
Yeah, I'm somewhere in the middle, I think. But relatively speaking, Tom, you've still got, decades ahead of you.
Oh, I hope not. Please no.
I don't know. Yeah, well, okay, fair enough. I mean, I'm sure we can arrange something. The Liverpool Hurdle then, Tom, you said you won't be having a bet, but what's the the possible winner for you?
I like Home Bradley. I've just got a soft spot for him. I was gutted when he smashed into that hurdle at Cheltenham. I think he would have won.
Okay, there we go. And David?
We saw what soft spots do with Keels and Hitman today, but we'll leave that one there. Champ for me.
Okay, Champ, and I'll go with Dashel Drasher to maybe Dashel Drasher and Mill Green each way double to come swinging into the home straight, and both of them get placed and trade at short price in running. That sounds like a nice little frustrating bet to me. The next race then, the 4:15. It's a handicap chase here over almost 3 miles and a furlong, and Midnight River is 6-1 favourite here for Dan Skelton, disappointed at Cheltenham. Beauport is 7-1, who disappointed at Cheltenham. Nassalam is also 7-1, who disappointed at Cheltenham. You're getting a theme here. 8-1 Eldorado Allen, Shake 'em Up Harry is also 8s. Kinondo Kwetu is 10-1 here. Coconut Splash 12s. Capga de Lily is 12-1. Bigger prices the rest. 15 of them line up for this handicap chase, and this is a really interesting race full of a lot of horses who have to bounce back, Robbie. I think there's viable excuses for those who did disappoint. In particular, I'm hoping Beauport does bounce back.
Oh yeah, you like Bo? Yeah, I remember watching the old Kim Muir with you.
He was absolutely swinging until he wasn't, and then he completely dropped out the back of the towing.
Yeah, maybe 2 furlongs less in his favour, isn't it? And the sharper track.
What do you like?
It's a weird old race, isn't it? Like, I'm not sure about the trip for a few of these. Eldorado Allen will definitely stay, but he's had a hard race in the Gold Cup. If he's at his best, he could win this, but I know he ran really poorly at Cheltenham, but I'm going to give Nassalam another chance. A couple of Gary Moores didn't fire at all that week. Editor de Geet ran no sort of race. I mean, Bo Zenith has shown the stable to be in pretty good heart. I think he's like 40% over the last couple of weeks as well.
And that's from quite a lot of runners as well.
Yeah, it was like 18 out of 41 or something.
18 out of 45, it is to be specific.
Thank you. I think I checked it before some things that happened today.
Yeah.
But Nassalam he didn't seem up for it last time. But you sort of go back to his run behind Midnight River at Cheltenham on New Year's Day, and that was really eye-catching. He's only 6. He's got a lot of ability there. He's going to like the rain. So he is short and I'd like, but I find it kind of a frustrating race. He's going to be my selection. I'd be interested in Kinondo Kwetu if it wasn't soft, but basically I don't really know.
Yeah, it's one of those races. It's kind of neither here nor there, isn't it? It's not.
Nothing's really standing out, is it?
Yeah, and you're not looking at some of these horses and thinking, oh, that's a graded horse in the making necessarily.
No.
I mean, Eldorado Allen is an interesting one though, Tom, because I mean, this is the easiest race he's contested for what? I don't know. I mean, what? Probably 4 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a completely different kettle of fish, this, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think so. It's just whether he'll quite get home in the ground. I think he will. I think he's got a chance. The Tizard horses, a bit like Robbie was saying about the Gary Moore horse, they didn't run very well at Cheltenham. In fact, none of them ran well at all, but they've run better this week. Killer Kane ran very well, I thought, in the Topham. So, yeah, I could see him bouncing back. He's definitely got a class edge. I thought this was really hard. I love Capta de Lily to win, personal reasons there, but I like Capta de Lily to win most of all for Venetia. I think the ground's come in her favour. I do think Ben Pauling's got a couple in there that having, Shake 'em Up Harry ran very well in the plate. We've seen the plate form working out really well. I think the step up of 3 miles will suit him. I also thought his other one right down the bottom, Bow to Greatness, he ran against Black Jerry at the start of the season. And he should have beaten Black Jerry. He was beaten a short head over 2.5. I think it was at Exeter. Black Jerry's like carrying all before him the last couple of weeks. Won at Ascot and the Sussex. Dave Stevens' champion chase. The Sussex champion chase. Although he's got so many houses, I'm not sure whether he's a Liverpudlian champion chase or the Sussex champion chase these days. But I thought Bow to Greatness had a chance down the bottom as well, because I think he'll love 3 miles. He didn't run too badly in the plate, got behind early on. But if he can get sort of out in the front, I thought the 2 Ben Pauling horses were the ones I might be having a look at. Shake 'em Up Harry and Bow to Greatness.
Okay, yeah, Bow to Greatness is going to be a pretty big price as well. So let's go over to you, David, as we traverse your own personal Monopoly board. And what have you got for us here? Kind of lukewarm feelings about the race from most of us, although, like I said, I'm just going to have to back Beauport again. I do think he's got racing him off this mark.
Well, we are an extra place each way in this race, going into the Grand National, 4 places each way there. I like Shake 'em Up Harry too, albeit there is a question mark over the trip. He goes as if he should get 3 miles. probably wouldn't want any more testing for him, having said that. And the other one, obviously, Eldorado Allen, trained by our ambassador, Joe Tizard. Obviously spoke to Joe for his blog. They made the decision straight after the Gold Cup that this horse's next run would be in a handicap. He's been dining in graded company for a long time now. And interestingly, Joe thinks, based on everything he's sort of done at home since, that because they rode him in the Gold Cup to just try and finish as far forward as he could, he actually didn't have that hard a race. As he said, they won't know for sure until tomorrow, but he is a graded horse in a handicap. So they'd be the two for me, Eldorado Allen and Shake 'em Up Harry.
Okay, thank you very much. And just to reiterate the selections, Robbie?
Nassalam, but boy, is it not a confident one.
Yeah.
I think I'll probably see it out, to be honest.
Yeah, fair enough. And then Nassalam will win, and you'll...
And then I'll kick myself.
Yeah.
So
Beauport is for me, and Mr. Segal?
I hope Cap Go de Lily wins, but I'm going to have a few quid on Bow to Greatness right down the bottom there.
Okay, lovely stuff. Terrific lads agreeing with me. Beauport is the nap of the day. Coconut Splash each way for Off World, and Shake 'em Up Harry for Edward Ryder here in this 4:15 over at Aintree. Once this one finishes, of course, we're going to have an hour's wait for the 5:15, the 2023 Grand National, and then probably another minute's wait while they have 3 goes at starting it, if the top one was anything to go by today. Ain't That a Shame, though, has been well backed here and is 8-1 favourite. So let's rattle through all the runners for the current prices. 9-1 Korak, Rambler and Delta Work. Any second now is 12-1. Noble Yates is 12-1. 14's Mr. Incredible. The big dog 14's with Gaillard and May Neal. Let's see if we can get that second page up very quickly. Producers. No, we can't. It's like an old man turning a page in a book.
Keep filling, Ross.
There we
Keep
go.
filling. Doing it.
Vanillier 16s, Lamilos 16s, Longhouse Poet 18s, Capadano is 20s, Our Power 20s, Galvin is 20s, 25-1 Back on the Lash, and Cocoa Beach is 28-1. In fact, I've got the price in front of me. I'm just going to go through those. What else where else have we got? Fury Road 33s with Lifetime Ambition and Mr. Coffee as well. We've got 33s Velvet Elvis, the Big Breakaway 40s, Manila Trump 40s, Roy Marsh is 40s, Enjoy Dalen is 40s, as is Eva's Oscar 50s with Born by the Sea, carefully selected, Cloudy Glen, Sam Brown and Hill 16. A Wave of the Sea and Recite a Prayer are 66-1. And we've also got 66 Gabby's Cross. 80-1 Dunboyne Deal Kerr, Frankie de Burley, Fortescue and Darasso. Cape Gentleman and Ascaria 10 are the 100-1 outsiders of the bunch. That's your 40 for this year's Grand National then. And there are potentially plenty of stories in this race. Some of them we've already seen before. Rachel Blackmore and Henry de Bromhead potentially. Derek Fox and Lucinda Russell potentially. Delta Works a bit of a tiger roll. Any second now keeps knocking on that door in this big race. Noble Yates, of course, coming back for another crack. Mr. Incredible's like another Noble Yates, isn't he? For the owner who did have Noble Yates, then sold him. And it is, it's absolutely wide open stuff here, Tom. But we saw today, didn't we, with Bill Baxter, that the Grand National is not the Grand National of old. It is not a race for exposed sloggers with plenty of experience. It's possibly future graded horses, 7-8-year-olds with not many runs on the clock, and therefore you're having to kind of twist the dial on your form analysis.
Yeah, I mean, it was when I was growing up, which according to you, Ross, was a very long time ago. I could find the winner of the Grand National. I think there were 10, or you could whittle it down to 10 with a chance. Now I can't. I think I've knocked out Ascaria 10, and that's it. I think the other 39 can win. I really do. I think it's impossible, these races now, and I think half the reason is not only that the fences are smaller and the handicappers had to say. I think the starts are a real crucial part of these national races over these national fences. I thought we saw that in the Topham today. I thought half the field on the outside had no chance after about 10 yards. They seem to be about 20 lengths behind. I just think got to sort those starts out because they're getting ridiculous.
I mean, it's not just the national fences, is it? Because we also saw it in the plate, of course. I mean, you mentioned Ascaria 10. I mean, these staying handicap chases, you get 20 odd runners. You have one go, it doesn't work out, and often the first go, I see them line up, I think that's fine, and then they let them go, and it's even worse.
Well, yeah, exactly. And also, I mean, if they allowed them to canter in, then you're all cantering, aren't you? You're all start. But when you standing start, half of them aren't going to start. You're going to lose 10 lengths. I just think they're a bit stupid the way these starts are. But anyway, that's another thing. I think it's an absolutely fantastic race. It's absolutely impossible. I don't know the way into a Grand National anymore. I used to know the way in. I don't I think they come in all shapes and sizes. You can come from the back, you can come from the front, you can be a novice, you can be a horizontal, you can be a... Do you know what I mean? So I don't like ruling out any horses these days. The one thing I would say is that since the Scottish horse won for Arthur won it, I don't think there's been a British trained horse in the first 3.
No.
So I do think the Irish have the dominance because they've got the better horses. And if they A1 at the race, which they do clearly because it's £1 million race, they might be the ones to concentrate on. But I don't like
that rules out about 4 horses, doesn't it, this year as well? Because they've obviously gone, well, we've got the angle here, and it's most of the field. But I'll tell you what, why don't you give us?
Yeah, the only thing.
Give us some positives, Tom. Because otherwise we kind of want to mention as many horses as we can, and we'll run out a bit of time. What are the ones that you're positive about?
I'm positive about 25 of them, Ross. I think loads of them got a chance. I backed Mr. Incredible when the weights came out. I'm worried about him starting, but I think he's got the right profile. I think he stays really well. We saw that at Warwick. We saw him stay really well in the Kim I think he'll go well. I could see Korak Rat. There's nothing wrong with Korak Wambler. I like the big dog. I like the big dog a lot, actually. He would be my first choice now. People tell me he's badly handicapped, but I just think he's getting better with every run. I thought he would have finished well in front of any second now in the Irish Gold Cup now, and he'd be getting he's getting £7 or £8 here. So I don't think he's as badly handicapped as people tell me. He's won a Munster National, he's won a Troy Town, he's won a Punchestown Grand National Trial. He went through the Welsh National like the best horse in the race by a mile. I think the slightly better ground, even though it's not going to be as good as I was hoping it was going to be, still is in his favour. So there, my short list is Delta Work, Mr. Incredible, the Big Dog, and there's probably about 5 others that I can't remember off the top of my head. But when we get to them, I'll give you a chance. Don't really Ain't That a Shame, but just thought he was way too short on what he's done. I'm not sure he's tough enough for the race, but that's it.
Okay. Yes, I mean, to be fair, I thought the same about Manila Times for the same connections a couple of years ago, and that proved me wrong. Well, let's throw a few more positives in. I mean, it's got to be, for me, Gaillard Domain Neil again. He's just a horse. Everyone writes him off, but he for me, if given some luck, this race is absolutely tailor-made for him because he's got the class. He's an experienced novice as well. He's obviously coming from connections who've already won a national this week as well with a similar-ish horse, and he just doesn't do anything wrong. Yeah, he's not particularly flashy, and he's not got that exciting edge to him that a lot of horses have. But I just think he'll just keep going and going and going. Yeah,
he's a Grade 1 horse running off a mark less than 160. So
yeah.
I see it. I think Capodanno is potentially the best horse in the race, but he's about 7th in the weights. Mm-hmm. He's just not been campaigned. He's been campaigned with this in mind quite clearly. I mean, really, he should be going for Grade 1, shouldn't he, considering his profile? Really impressive at Punchestown in the Grade 1 last year. It just comes live in the spring. The rain...
Ground, Robbie.
Yeah,
what do you think about ground?
I was just about to say that, yeah. I mean, that's a slight concern, to be honest, but... I don't know, the class might just get him through, but
yeah,
I do agree completely with what you say that, like, basically you could probably rule out about 15 of them at the start, just the position they get in, and it's just tough.
Let's say we all know that because that's
we know that. Exactly. So you say all this and it's redundant.
But let's get some positives out for
let's talk about horses that are interestingly handicapped.
Yeah.
Roy Madge, he's about, I think he's something like 17. Oh, sorry, he's about £11 better off with Long Ass Poet for their prep run for this. I thought he shaped just as well as Long Ass Poet did there, and he's.
I thought he was going to win at one point. The other one battled back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, interesting profile. He's got some pretty smart form in France. Mm-hmm. Got Felix de Giles over. Interesting booking.
He's quite interesting, given that he's a 10-year-old, but 11-year-old, sorry, but the connections have only had him for a year. So
yeah, he's been on a strange journey. He was in Britain a few years ago, I think, as well. The other one was Velvet Elvis. I thought on a line through any second now, he was quite interesting. I mean, they're both. He's that Webster Cup Chase at Navan warming up for this. Neither of them are 2.5 milers, but he's £17 better off of any second now, and he's only 7. Any second now 11. He's eventually going to. I know any second now likes this kind of test, but eventually he is going to start to regress. Velvet Elvis looks like the horse is going to keep getting better and better. Mm-hmm. They're my main. I was looking at Ain't That a Shame, to be honest, but I actually can't believe my eyes that he's 8-1. I mean, wasn't he about 20-1 or something like that yesterday?
Yeah, a lot of
I
money
put him up for the Irish national in the weekender.
At the moment, Cheltenham and at Aintree, all the de Bromhead, Rachel Blackmore horses. I mean, they've all been well backed.
Yeah,
haven't
people. There's obviously a theme there, isn't
Yeah.
there? I couldn't. This is what I will add is I've never backed the winner of this race in my sort of 11 years of watching races, so I'm due one. I'm
not sure that's how it works, but fair enough.
Law of averages.
Yeah.
But I generally, I wouldn't really like to go below 20-1 either. So my 3 stabs are Capodanno, Roy Madge, Velvet Elvis. Best of luck. Probably not going to work out.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that's just the way you approach the race. Other ones to mention. I mean, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to bring you in, David Stevens, because I'm sure you've got a bit up your sleeve in terms of horses that have been well supported. Ain't That a Shame's clearly top of that tree. The money is absolutely pining. Is anything else that maybe has been a bit missed, but's also attracted a bit of interest?
Yeah, well, let's start with Ain't That a Shame. That was 20-1 a couple of days ago, as Robbie said, has been shortening all day today, 16, 14, 12, down to the 8-1. There's a couple of reasons behind that. As always, there's a lot of focus on Rachel Blackmore. Forget that she's a female rider. She's a brilliant jockey. Obviously won the race 2 years ago. Connections have had a couple of winners this week, so they're back in form. And it's almost to a degree, it's one of those, as traders and compilers for this race, you've almost got to preempt what's going to be back tomorrow, not on form, but just what the public are going to latch onto, because it is still the one race of the year that the wider public get involved in. Millions of people will have their one and only bet of the year tomorrow. And as much as you might try and get these people back in next week, they're not going to. It's the National. It still has its unique place. And Ain't That a Shame, with Rachel Blackmore on board, will be a popular horse tomorrow, I am convinced. As will horses like Back on the Lash will be, the Big Dog will be, Mr. Incredible will be. These are horses, and you might think that's crazy, but, we've seen big gambles over the years. Seabass, I can understand why. There was a big string of ones by his name, and Katie Walsh was on board. Munker Hostin, to this day, I have no idea why Munker Hostin was punted for the National, but it was. So it's a unique race. It's a different race. Another one back to the big price today was Enjoy Dalen. That one shortened down at bigger prices. We're 6 places each way. Personal fancies, I'm a bit like Tom. I could give up 20 here. I mean, I will throw probably 5-6 darts at this. Corrock Rambler, I do like. Lamilos, I do like. But can they beat the Irish? I don't know. Velvet Elvis, I like. And I do like Ain't That a Shame. Had his sights lowered last time and won, but I say the price has disintegrated now. But yeah, it's still a brilliant race. It's still the one time of the year that people outside our sport want to get involved.
Yeah, no, you're right. Who knew there were so many Fats Domino fans out there piling into the Grand National favourite? But yeah, there's going to be loads of. I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of name horses in here, isn't there? This year, obviously, if your wife's called Gabby and you've really annoyed her, Gabby's Cross is going to be in there. Sam Brown for other more soul fans as well. If your name's Eva or Oscar or Glenn, there's ones for you as well. If you like Biscuits, the big breakaways right up there as well. So there's loads of them.
Corrock Rambler's just quite an interesting sounding name as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Depends what the punters latch onto. You just never know, do you?
Yeah.
It's an absolute lottery. I'd say Noble Yates could be punted as well. I mean, do you think people will remember that he won it last year?
Yeah.
And
he won it well.
Yeah, he did. To be fair, he is worth his £19 higher mark. He's proved on his last few. He's run into RPLs in the 170 his last 3 starts. So he's a proper Grade 1 horse, and we know he stays.
Yeah.
So he's another one that I wouldn't surprise me going off favourite. Gallo Dominil could go off favourite. Mullins is number 1.
Yeah.
It's just I'm excited for it, but it is frustrating because you do watch it a lot, and your 3 picks have got no chance straight away. But
yeah,
part of the fun.
But this year in particular, I think there's it is different horses are being aimed at it. So it is genuinely like you said, Tom. There are genuinely 20 horses in here that you could honestly say have got between half a stone and a stone in hand on their mark. And it used to be that there weren't that many of those kind of horses around, but there's just a hell of a lot of improvers here, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, but some, I like the Big Dog, and people tell me he's the worst handicapped horse in the race. I mean, he's something like £12 higher than when he was beaten in the Welsh National. But
if he'd have finished second or third behind Galopin des Champs, they wouldn't be saying that, would they?
Exactly. That's the point. I think he's better than that. I think he went through the race like the best horse in there. But there's loads. I mean, Delta Work. I mean, he's really well handicapped. He didn't jump very well last year, did he? If you watch that, I watched the race back last night, and I was staggered how badly he jumped over the first circuit. And to finish where he did was a really big effort. If he gets his act together and jumps well, he's got a massive chance at the weights. Just whether he takes to it again, I don't know. I mean, there's all these intangibles you don't really know. The one thing I tend not to worry about anymore, and it sounds ridiculous, is jumping. Because, look, how can you rule out Vanillier? You know, a former Albert Bartlett winner. 5-10 years ago, you'd have said he's got no chance of getting round. But nowadays, you do think he's got a chance of getting round. If he gets over the first three, and he sort of seems that he quite likes it, he's got a huge chance at the weights, isn't he? He's an Albert Bartlett. He's a 15-length winner of an Albert Bartlett, not just a run-of-the-mill one. So you can make cases for so many. It really, really is hard. If you find the winner of this, pat yourself on the back, get off to Acapulco and have a good time because you deserve it.
There you go. Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. I'm going to have a crack at a couple personally then. Gaillard Du Mesnil is the obvious one. Like I said, I cannot get away from this horse. I love him to bits. I know people will crab him, but they're crabbing him in Grade 1 and Grade 2 events, and he's just going to get a lovely spin round here. And one we haven't mentioned, who I thought had a bit of a chance, was Cocoa Beach, who is an 8-year-old who's had about 483 runs over fences. This is his 19th run, and he was better than ever last time out when beating Death Duty. And I know finished 8th last year, but looked better last time out. And Harry Cobden's a very interesting booking. So they're my two against the field. Robbie, what are you?
It's weird. He's only 8, isn't it? It feels like he's been around for ages.
Yeah, he's been running in these races for about 3 years.
Yeah, Harry Cobden interesting, but you're sort of thinking, is that not indicative of the jockey crisis that Elliott's got and he was going spare? It's still a great booking because he's one of the best around.
And the National, I mean, we'd say it's a different race, but it's often, you know, a jockey will just ride the race of his life and then never get anywhere near it again. It's just
that seems to happen to Ryan Mania for quite a few years. He's ended up being quite good ultimately, but bit of a hiatus. Looking forward to it, mate. Who haven't we touched on? Lamilos. I know a lot of people think he could be the best of the British. I don't know if he's... Well, I mean, you look at the Kelso run, you're thinking, he's tied up, as if he's needed it. But you go back to the Ladbrokes Trophy run, it looked like he would stay a bit further. So he's interesting.
What are your... Well, I'll get some from the chat and I'll get your select. So what are your three?
My three, Capodanno, Velvet Elvis, Roy Madge.
Okay, there we go. Tom?
No, the big dog. I backed Mr. Incredible a long time ago, so I'll stick with him. At a massive price, Sam Brown. Okay,
there we go. And what about you, David?
So I'm just checking. I've given out loads of tips today. I should have some consistency. I will go for what I put here. Lamilos, Velvet Elvis, and I will probably get suckered into backing Ain't That a Shame as well. Just a quick line on the big breakaway, of course, trained by Joe Tizard. If he runs to his Chepstow form, he'd have a chance. Obviously, second in the Coral Welsh National. Joe said we'll know very early on whether he's going or not because he was never going a yard at Cheltenham. But yeah, on his Chepstow form would have a chance. He's a 40-1 shot.
Lovely stuff. Thanks, David. So do you tip different horses to, depending on which postcode, which one of your groups of neighbours ask you for a bet? Is that it?
I'm just going into my WhatsApp to see who's had the three I've just given out here. They're the ones most likely to be watching this.
Right,
so Sussex have a tip, Liverpool has a tip. Which other houses have you got?
Yeah, he's got more houses than the UK's got nationals. Incredible stuff. Let's get some selections on the chat before we wrap up the show with the finale. Let's have a look. We've got Devo, Delta Work, carefully selected, and Cocoa Beach. Delta Work and Galvin to fight it out again, says Neil Watson. We've got Gaillard Du Mesnil and Roy Madge for Jamie Kimmy as well. I'm sure you are a wise man. The Vanillier for Paul Ferguson as well. Off-World Lights Galvin at 20-1. We've got, what else have we got? Let's have a few more for you. Diddly-dee, can we find any more? There's loads of chat going on, loads of chat. It's now or never for Velvet Elvis, says Doghouse Riley. And Off-World backed Ain't That a Shame only a few days ago at 25-1. And Ben Clark says, if Galvin wins, David Russell retires on the spot. Yeah, that is quite the story if that does happen then. Okay, good luck in tomorrow's Grand National, and fingers crossed you at least make it round a circuit with your selection and everyone comes home safe and sound. Let's close it out then with the bumper. Blizzard of Oz is 5-1 favourite for the 620, 6-1 Centaura and Sam Wee, 13-2 Captain Cody, Paula Phil is 7-1, Aslook Goes is 10-1, 12-1 Dino Bellagio, and Hash or Has Thing, and bigger prices the rest. A lot of horses, a lot of form lines, a lot of trainers. We had an impressive winner of the bumper early on in the week. Tom, give us a quick selection for the finale.
Oh, that's a hard one. It's an impossible race. I'd go for Nicky Richards' horse, which I've forgotten the name of off the top of my head, but I was really impressed with him.
Florida Dreams, 'cause that's the one I fancy as well. Yeah, Florida Dreams.
Yeah, that one. I thought the speed figure, you know me, Ross, you and me, we like our speed figure. Speed figure was good. It was impressive when he won, and I just think he might. Nicky Richards used to have a very good record in these bumpers. I remember he used to go down to Cheltenham and win them with Tony Dobbin on board a few, 10 or so years ago. I'm interested in him.
Yeah, he came from absolutely God knows where, didn't he, at Musselburgh, and ended up absolutely dotting up as well. Yeah, it was pretty impressive. Robbie, anything in the last?
I won't be betting on it, but if I have to have one, I don't have to, obviously, but if I did, Paul Lefille won, Gordon Elliott won the same bumper that Facile Vega did last year, put up a decent RPI in that.
Even your moderate French knows what that means, don't you, Rob?
For the fillies. I did Spanish, so what does it mean? For the
Clearly.
For the fish?
For the girls?
Yeah.
Is it? Nice.
Yeah.
For the girls.
Yeah, and that's you, Robbie, all over it, mate. Yeah.
Well, back in the day, mate, yeah, my glory years.
So we've got...
I do miss it.
How old are you?
Wrong, is it?
29.
29.
Yeah, but
And it's already
they
gone.
were some good years.
Well, yeah. Lovely. Paul Lefille, indeed. David Stevens, when were your glory years? Do you have a selection in the last?
Well, first of all, I want to know if Robbie's 29. When were his, for God's sake?
Sort of 21 to 28, Dave.
So
I recently retired.
Recently retired. Yeah.
Only just over. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so David, when were your glory hours?
about 28 years ago.
Yeah.
So
Fair enough.
4 places each way in this concluding race, and I will go Fergal O'Brien. I'm amazed Tom didn't tip. Go to War. Not seen him since October. Did miss one engagement because of good ground, so hopefully any rain up here will suit Go to War. A 14-1 chance.
Okay, lovely stuff. There we go. The finale at Aintree tomorrow. It'll be here before you know it. And thank you everyone for watching. We'll get the naps in just a second. Here's a little bit of a promo before we do, and then we'll get the best bets for Grand National Day. Okay, there you go. Get involved then. We'll see you in a few weeks' time post-National as well. We'll be getting into the flat season before we know it as well. But first, it's the Grand National, the final day of the Aintree Festival. And the final nap starting off with you, Robbie Wilders.
2:25 at Aintree, West Balboa, last run in a handicap before she goes on to achieve great things next season.
There you go. Tom Segal, what about you?
Well, got to be the Nash. There's only one race tomorrow, isn't there? The good old Nash. The big dog in the Grand National for me.
Big dog indeed. Okay, lovely stuff. And David Stevens, what about you?
I will go for Irish Point in the 3 o'clock, and we'll be back next Friday previewing the Coral Scottish Grand National. We just can't get enough of these nationals.
Oh, yeah, we will. Yeah, we will.
Seriously?
Do you ever back winners at Air, Tom?
Yeah, like Air. We'll be on flying form at Air.
Yeah, I can't wait. Lovely. Just going to have to email everyone at the Racing Post as well. Send me those dates because I didn't know about that either. So fair enough. But I'll go for Gaillard de May Neil in the National as well. So best of luck tomorrow, everyone. If you haven't already, like and subscribe to the stream, and we'll see you next Friday. Who knew?